Hare Krishna. So, welcome to the second day of the life lessons from Brihad Bhagavatamrit. Yesterday, we had a wonderful discussion on the history of Brihad Bhagavatamrit. We also spoke briefly about Sanatana Goswami and the various scriptures that he wrote. And then we went on to discuss about Narad Muniji trying to find who is the greatest recipient of the Lord's mercy. He met the Brahmana at Prayag. The Brahmana told him to go to the South Indian king. He went to the South Indian king, and the South Indian king told him to go to Indra. And and we discussed about Indra. And today we are going to begin further our journey with Narad Muniji. But before we begin, I'd like to just invoke auspiciousness and blessings of the previous acharyas. Om Gyan Timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. So as we were discussing from the beautiful scriptures of Brihad Bhagavatamrit yesterday, that how Sanatana Goswami is describing that Parikshit Maharaj is narrating this entire scripture entire discussion to his beloved mother Uttara. Parikshit Maharaj has just finished hearing Srimad Bhagavatam and he is all prepared, all set to return back home, back to Godhead. And at that time Uttara approaches him. And Uttara is asking that, please tell me what is the essence of all that you have heard. Please understand, Uttara is a great devotee of Lord Shri Krishna. And we must understand this entire scripture actually is collected all the essence from all the different scriptures about the glories of devotional service to Lord Shri Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam is also glorifying the devotional service to Krishna, and Brihad Bhagavatamrit is also continuing to do that. And in this particular Brihad Bhagavatamrit, we will see that as Lord Narad Muni is approaching different devotees, you will see three things. When Narada Muni is approaching that particular devotee, what is the activity, what are different activities that particular devotee is performing? As somebody is performing the puja, somebody is doing yagya, and as Indra was worshipping Lord Vamandev. And then it goes like Narad Muni glorifies that devotee, and that particular devotee tries to refute Narad Muni. And in turn, he underplays, he downplays his devotional service. He is not satisfied with his own devotional service, and he in turn directs Narad Muni to another devotee who is better than him. So as Indra directed Narad Muni that please go and approach your own father, who is born from the lotus he was born on the lotus flower which is arising from the navel of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So Narad Muni approaches the Brahmalok, and as he's approaching Brahmalok, he can hear so many Brahmanas chanting different mantras, and lot of yajnas are going on. And he has darshan, a beautiful darshan of Sahasra Shirsha Mahavishnu. Lord Mahavishnu, who has 1,000 heads, and Bhagavatam describes in the first canto, third chapter, first 1 to 5 verses, that this Sahasra Shirsha Mahavishnu has thousands of heads, thousands of crowns, thousands of earrings, thousands of hands, and Lord Brahma and his associates are offering him various bhoga, and with all the 1,000 hands, he's putting in different 1,000 mouths. So actually Lord Brahma, in his particular Brahmalok, as his devotional activity he is doing is worshipping Mahavishnu. And after the worship is over, Mahavishnu is actually, Lakshmi ji is pressing his lotus feet. And Mahavishnu is then says that now, Brahmaji, I would retire and I would enter into my sleeping chamber. And you can continue your duties of the universal affair. And Brahmaji comes out, and Mahavishnu actually goes to his sleeping chamber. And then Brahmaji instructs his sons to continue to perform more and more yajna. And at that time, Narad Muni, after having beautiful darshan of entire this vision of Lord's worship, he pays obeisances to Brahmaji. Brahmaji is very happy to see his own son. Narad Muni is his own son. And then Brahmaji immediately, as he is sitting on his divine asan, Narad Muni starts glorifying him. Narad Muni starts telling him, my dear father, you are the great grandfather of this entire universe. You are the one who has created this universe. You are the one who is maintaining this universe. And let me tell you, you are the person who is the recipient of the greatest mercy of Lord Shri Krishna. I have just coming from Indra Lok, and Indra has glorified that in this particular universe there is nobody higher than you. The greatest devotee is you, and you are the one who has got the best mercy, the greatest mercy of Lord Shri Krishna. You are the one who creates, you are the one who is maintaining, you are the dispenser of karma of the living entities. And then you also protect and annihilate this universe. You are so expertly managing this universe. You are so great that you are born directly from the navel of the Lord. Brahma is one who doesn't require any mother and father. He is born directly from the navel of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Your planet is so special that to reach to this planet, actually the great sages, they perform for hundreds, thousands of years, great tapasya, then they can reach to Brahmaloka. From your 4 mouths, you are reciting Vedas. Vedas are generated from you, and Vedas always serve you. They are ready to offer any service to you, my dear father. And then he further on goes to explain that, my dear father, you are so expert that the Lord himself, he has decided to reside in your own planet. In your Brahmaloka, there is an area which is called as Vaikuntha area. And in that Vaikuntha area, Lord resides in the form of Sahasra Shirsha Mahavishnu, accepting continuously all your offerings. When you were born, as please understand that it is explained in Bhagavatam first canto and also in the third canto, that how in the initial beginning, there is a spiritual world, and at the end of the spiritual world there is a cloud which is called as Mahatattva. And in Mahatattva actually Vishnu enters as Karanadaksha Vishnu. And as he is lying down in that causal ocean, just by the process of his breathing in and out, there are bubbles. And in each bubble, the Karanadaksha Vishnu enters as Garbhodaksha Vishnu. And each bubble becomes one universe. And in that particular universe, from that Garbhodaksha Vishnu's navel comes the lotus flower on which Brahmaji sits. So Narad Muni is saying that when you were sitting there on that lotus flower, you were the first living entity who was born in that particular universe. You were so confused and you were praying to the Lord, you were performing tapasya. And at that time, Lord personally appeared within your heart and he gave you the knowledge of the creation. So you are so special. Lord gives very, very special mercy to you. In fact, sometimes Lord appears as Brahma when there is no living entity who is as powerful to become Brahma. So you are not different than Lord Krishna. So as soon as Brahmaji hears this, he becomes very agitated. He becomes very angry. He said, Narada, and with all his 8 hands, 2 hands, he is covering all his 8 ears. And he's saying, Vishnu, Vishnu, Vishnu. I am not Krishna. I am only menial servant of Lord Shri Krishna. I am only servant of Sri Krishna. Narada, since the time you are a young boy, I have been telling you that supreme personality of Godhead Krishna is only one and nobody else can take that position. And you are telling me I'm not different than Krishna? Have you forgotten all the knowledge which I have given you? Don't forget that. You cannot become Krishna. I am just an insignificant menial servant. And all this creation which you are seeing, it is in fact done by the energy of the Lord, which is Mahamaya. The she who creates, maintains, and destroys. And she is the one who is perfectly doing this under the guidance of Lord Shri Krishna. It is not I who is doing this. You think I am the one who is receiving the highest mercy? No. If I was receiving such great mercy of Lord Shri Krishna, I would have never become proud. You know, I have become so proud of all my qualifications and achievement. I am proud that I am born from the navel of Lord Sri Garbhodaksha Vishnu. I am proud that from my mouth the Vedas arise. I am proud of my being the proprietor, controller and destroyer of this universe. And I am so busy in the management of this universal affairs that actually I have forgotten my insignificant role. And you tell me that this particular planet Loka is so special, but haven't you read in the Vedas? The Vedas describe that this Brahma Loka also gets destroyed at the time of annihilation. So please do not glorify me. I am not the one who has actually received the greatest mercy. In fact, I am offender. You are telling me that Lord Narayan stays in my planet and is accepting all the offerings and sacrifices. Lord Narayan is doing that only because he wants to promote the culture of Vedic sacrifices. That is why he is accepting, not because of my devotion. And whatever services I am doing because I want liberation. It is not out of devotion. So Brahmaji is very clear that what I am doing, I am not that great devotee. If you actually want to know who is the greatest recipient of Lord Krishna's mercy, please go and approach Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is extremely kind and Lord is extremely merciful to Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva actually, he is so detached that even though he is one of the principal, Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, they are the three main avatars who are supposed to manage the universal affair, but he doesn't want rulership over anything. He is simply engaged in meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord. He is continuously chanting the holy names of the Lord. He doesn't want to follow any normal ways. That's why he applies ashes over his body. He wears snakes, he wears garlands of dhatura, so that people remain away from him, thinking that, he is the Vairagi. And Lord is so kind to him that Lord Shiva in his own jata, he holds Mother Ganga. Mother Ganga who arises from the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Such is the glorious Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva and Parvati, besides Lord Vishnu, only Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati are given the opportunity or the benediction to give liberation to other living entities. Even I cannot offer liberation, but Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati can offer liberation. And forget liberation. Those devotees who sincerely worship Lord Shiva, in fact, Lord Shiva guides them to the ultimate goal of his life, to find the devotion to Lord Sri Hari. So such glorious is Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva he is the one who should be actually, who should be worshipped. And in fact, when you are telling me that I am such a great person who has received a lot of mercy. But let me tell you that when Lord uh, Krishna, he gave me this position, and with this position also comes responsibilities. What did I do with that responsibilities? He said, if I would have received the mercy, I would have never been done any offenses. He said, I gave benediction to Hiranyaksha. Hiranyaksha performed tapasya, I gave benediction to Hiranyaksha. And what did Hiranyaksha do? He in fact killed so many cows, brahmanas, and he put the earth below the water, and Lord Varahadev had to come to save the earth planet. And I did not learn my lessons after that. I gave again benediction to Hiranyakashipu. And when I gave benediction to Hiranyakashipu in fact, he tormented all the Vaishnavas. He made the lives of the Vaishnavas most miserable. And to destroy him, Lord personally appeared as Narsimhadev. And when he appeared as Narsimhadev and he killed Hiranyakashipu, his ferocious Swarup, we were so scared that all of us were trembling. I with my entire entourage was standing there and we could not pacify him. When Prahlad, we pushed Prahlad forward and Prahlad came in front of Lord Nrsimhadev and he started glorifying Nrsimhadev. Then Nrsimhadev was glorified. And he was completely pacified when Prahlad was, we made him the inaugurated, we installed him as the king. And that is the time Nrsimhadev was satisfied. And what did he do after that? After that, he immediately looked at me and he said, don't give such benedictions to these demons. Just as milk, when it is fed to the snake becomes more dangerous. Similarly, when you give such a benediction to these demons, they become more ferocious, more dangerous. So I am warning you, next time don't do such acts. So Brahmaji is telling that, do you think I am dear to Krishna? This is what Nrsimhadev told me. And forget about me. All these principal demigods whom I have appointed, so many times they have also offended Krishna. He said, let's take the example of Indra. Indra has told you that I am the best recipient of the Lord's mercy. But what did Indra do? When little Krishna in the Vrindavan, he encouraged all the Brijabasis to worship Govardhan and to do Govardhan Puja. Indra became so angry that he sent the clouds of devastation, Samvartaka, and he tried to destroy Krishna's Vrindavan, tried to destroy all the Brijabasis. And Krishna had to lift the Govardhan hill and perform the pastime. When Krishna, who came to Indralok, and he was asking Indra that I want this Sudharma hall and I want Parijat tree because Satyabhama wanted, Indra refused and Krishna had to fight with Indra and forcibly take away Sudharma hall and Parijat tree. So do you think Krishna doesn't understand that this is Indra whom I have appointed, he has done this offense? Sing Varunadev. When Nanda Maharaj on the day of Ekadashi was over, in the early morning at 2:30, he entered the water of Jamuna to take his bath. Varuna, as one of the servants, thought that this is not an appropriate time and he is doing an offense. So he actually captured Nanda Maharaj and as a slave he took him to Varunadev's palace. And immediately Lord Krishna came there to rescue his father and Varuna asked for forgiveness. Forget Varuna, Kubera. Kubera also, when Kubera is one of the servants, Sankhachud, when gopis, Krishna's most intimate devotees, they were in the forest, Shankhachura tried to attack them and Krishna had to protect. Kubera's both the sons, Nala Kubera and Manigriv. In fact, they also tried to offend Krishna. It is said in one of the Puranas that they were assisting actually Kansa to harm Krishna. But Krishna actually protected them. So Indra, Varuna, Kubera and Yamaraj. When Lord Krishna, after he killed Kamsa and he stayed with Devaki and Vasudeva, Devaki and Vasudeva thought that you must go to the ashram of Sandipani Muni in Ujjain and to get some knowledge. So immediately Krishna and Balram were sent to Ujjain and very fast they learned all the 64 arts. And when they were leaving, they asked for Guru Dakshina and Sandipani Muni requested him that, my son was in recent past was killed, so can you please bring him back? And immediately Krishna and Balram, they left to the ocean and they requested ocean that give the son of our Guru Maharaj back. And he said there is a demon called Panchajana. And Krishna defeated the demon Panchajana, and that became this conch shell. It was in the form of conch shell. Krishna took that conch shell, and then he said his son is in the Yamalok. So Krishna went to Yamalok, he blew the conch shell, and Yamaraj came out. And he was so scared to see Krishna coming directly at his door, and he immediately returned Krishna's Guru Maharaj's son. So all these demigods whom I have appointed, they are committing such offenses to Krishna. And do you think I am the one who is the recipient of Krishna's mercy? And he said, more than that, just in recent past, I made a mistake. I went to Vraj, and when I saw that Krishna and Balram are eating lunch with all the coward boys, I tried to, by my magical power, I first kidnapped the small calves, and then Krishna said, I will personally go and look for the calves. And then I kidnapped all the coward boys. And for 1 year, I captured them in the cave. But whenever I came back to see where the coward, what Krishna is doing, all of them were with Krishna only, and they were also in the caves. And then ultimately, when I got so bewildered, I had a beautiful vision, and Krishna made me see that each and every coward boy that I had kidnapped and each and every calf had turned into the beautiful form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And I was completely bewildered. And that time, I started offering prayers to the Lord Shri Krishna. And he was not interested in listening to my prayers. He was just standing there in his hand, having small mountain of chip rice and yogurt. And he was just smiling. And when I saw that beautiful form of Lord Shri Hari, my heart was completely rejuvenated. So at least after committing that offense, Lord Krishna gave me his mercy in the form of his darshan, and I could stay there in the land of Raja for a few seconds. This is Brahma's few seconds. Because his timing and our timings are very different. So only I could stay there for a few minutes. And I did not decide to stay there more, because if I would commit more offenses to the Brijvasis, so I immediately left from there. So please understand, Narada, that I have committed so many offenses. I am not the one who has received the greatest mercy. The greatest mercy is received by Lord Shiva. Because Lord Shiva, he is not attached to anything, and he is constantly engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. When we see Lord Shiva sitting and meditating, he is meditating on the Lord's names. He is not interested in any of the rulership of the material universe. He is only interested in devotional service. He can offer liberation, but he also gives devotion to Lord Shri Hari, to his pure devotees who actually love only Shiva. And then Brahmaji says that whenever Lord Shiva commits any offense, when I committed an offense, Narsimhadev warned me. But whenever Shiva commits some mistake, what does Lord do? Lord personally goes and protects him. Brahmaji started narrating that once Lord Shiva had given a benediction to a demon, Maya demon. So he could make a well of nectar in the region of Tripura. And the demons of Tripura, after drinking that nectar, they became so powerful that in turn they attacked Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva could not do anything. At that time, Lord Vishnu personally appeared in the form of a cow and drank the entire well of the nectar, entire nectar from that well. And he protected Lord Shiva. Again, when Lord Shiva gave benediction to Vrikasur, that whomever he touches his head will be burst. And then Vrikasur in turn wanted to touch the head of Lord Shiva. And he wanted to seize Mother Parvati. And Lord Shiva was running and Vrikasur was running. But somehow or other Lord Vishnu appeared in the form of a small brahmachari boy. And he convinced Vrika that don't believe in these blessings and benedictions of Lord Shiva. First you try it out on yourself. Touch your head with your hand and you see whether this actually is benediction works or not. And under the mesmerizing yoga maya of that little boy, Vrikasur touched his head and immediately died. When Ravana, Shiva gave benediction to Ravana, and what happened to Ravana? Ravana started moving Kailash and actually started disturbing Lord Shiva. But Lord appeared as Lord Ramchandra and destroyed Ravana. So when Shiva does give some benediction and he's engaged into some difficulty, at that time Lord doesn't warn him. He personally goes and protects him. In fact, in the form of Parshuram, Lord worships Parshuram worships Lord Shiva. In the incarnation of Lord Ramchandra, Lord Ramchandra worshipped Rameshwar, the Shivlinga. At the time of Samudra Manthan, churning of the ocean, at that time the demigods and the demons, they were churning, and the first thing they were expecting nectar to come out, but came out halal poison. And they were all bewildered, and the demigods were guided by Lord Narayan to go to Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva, even though Mother Uma was telling that please do not drink this poison, Lord Shiva, just to obey the order of Lord Narayan, drank that entire poison. He kept in his neck, and his neck became green. So he's called Nilakanta. And then everybody worshipped Lord Shiva. Everybody glorified Lord Shiva. So my dear son Narada, if you actually want to understand who has received the greatest mercy of Lord Krishna, it is Shiva. And Narada said immediately, yes, I'm immediately going now. I'm immediately going to Kailash. And Brahma said, wait. I want to tell you one more thing. The Kailash planet in this particular universe, the Kailash Lok, is actually a place which is ruled by Kubera. And because Kubera worships Lord Shiva very nicely, so just after pleasing Lord Kubera, Lord Shiva stays here for some time. But actually, Lord Shiva's Lok, Shiva Lok, is beyond the 7 coverings of this material universe. You should go to Shiva Lok. Because Shiva Lok, there is no misery. There is lot of prosperity, lot of palaces, and they are continuously chanting the glories. Whichever devotee of Lord Shiva who perfects his devotion to Lord Shiva goes to Shiva Lok. And they all are worshipping. Lord Shiva especially is worshipping his most beloved Lord, Lord Shankarshan, who has thousands of hoods. And he is worshipping him in his Shiva Lok. And my dear Narada, you can go because you are the transcendental spaceman who can travel to any place. You have been given that benediction. So my request to you is, please go to Shiva Lok. And as he started going to Shiva Lok, after offering obeisances, we can hear more from Prabhuji. But I would just like to tell 2 things in this pastime. That the lesson we learned is that whatever position we have, whatever responsibilities we have, whatever services we have been given, we should never become proud. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that Pratishtha is like Shukaravishta. Shukar is the boar. It is the worst type of the pig. Normally pig eats the stool. But the Shukaravishta is the worst of the stool. So when you become proud and you start taking your own Pratishtha, it is like you are eating your own stool. It is, your mouth should become distasteful that, oh God, I cannot eat the stool. So that is what is when you become proud. I remember many years back, once I was sitting with His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, and I asked him, Maharaj, when we do some services, we become little, because everybody glorifies their service, and we also feel after some time that yes, I did a very good service. Everybody likes this service. Maybe I have done this service very nicely. So I was asking Maharaj that how can we not become proud? How can we get rid of this anartha of pride? Because when you do some service, naturally it comes, and in this conditioned state, it is very difficult. So Radhanath Maharaj told me that as soon as somebody gives you the credit, give the credit of that service to somebody else. Don't keep the credit with you. If somebody says, oh, you have directed this very nice drama, you should tell something else. No, this devotees did such a wonderful job. That's why the drama was so wonderful. And then I said, Maharaj, thank you very much for such a wonderful answer. And Maharaj told me, because you are wonderful, the answer is wonderful. So immediately by his example, he taught me that how to give credit to others. So please understand that Brahmaji is teaching us by his example that how we should not become proud, however small or big services we do. Our only intention should be whatever we are doing is only as an offering for the pleasure of Lord Shri Hari, Lord Shri Krishna. Then, whatever activities we are doing, that will not entangle us, but help us to come closer to our ultimate goal of our life, the perfect devotional service to Lord Shri Hari.
So, after this, Transcendental Spaceman heard this beautiful description and elaborate explanation of the glories of Lord Shiva. Naturally, as a very ecstatic person, as a person who is really looking for the essence, Narad Muni is a person who looks for the essence. He was wanting to really go as quickly as possible to Shiva Loka. And of course, Narad Muni cannot, it doesn't take a long time to really go from one place to another place. He just has to desire, and he just reached Shiva Loka, even though it is beyond, as she explained, beyond the 7 layers of this creation. And as he reached Shiva Loka, what was Shiva doing? As he explained, that every personality was engaged in some devotional service. Nobody is just doing nothing. So Lord Shiva was worshipping his worshipable Lord Shankarshan. And how was he worshipping? Lord Shiva is known to be a Nataraj, is known to be a great dancer. So Lord Shiva was dancing in great ecstasy for the pleasure of the Lord. So this is very important. This is the whole process given to us by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just by chanting and dancing for the pleasure of the Lord, you actually go back to Godhead. It is so easy. And Lord Shiva, who is the supreme Vaishnava, how does he worship Shankarshan? He was dancing in ecstasy, dancing, and when we said when he dances, he doesn't even know. He doesn't even realize what's around. Sometimes whatever little clothes he wears also goes off, but he's still dancing in ecstasy. That's how ecstatic Lord Shiva was dancing. And while he was dancing, Nandishwar was also playing some instruments, and his wife Usha was clapping her hands like this. And when Lord Shiva ended, he appreciated. This is very interesting. Even though he was in ecstasy to worship the Lord, but as he ended, he appreciated Nandishwar. Nandishwar, you played your instrument very nicely. And my dear wife Usha, you clapped very nicely. Uma, you clapped very nicely. Now, what is so nice in one sense about clapping? But this is a wonderful lesson we learned from Lord Shiva as a wonderful husband, to appreciate your wife and in general to appreciate people. This is a very important aspect. And when Narad Muni saw this interaction, the Lord Shiva's dancing and appreciation for Nandishwar, appreciation for Uma, Narad Muni was also playing his veena. He was just so ecstatic also. See, devotees, it is a resonance. One person is ecstatic, the resonance, so it just passes on. So Narad Muni was very ecstatic and he didn't want to stop playing his veena. So he said, but at the same time I have to offer obeisances to Lord Shiva. He said, no, I will not offer obeisances. He was just playing the veena, and with his head, he just tucked it down, and he offered respects. And then he met Lord Shiva, and he explained, Lord Shiva, what are you doing? I said, I am worshipping the Lord, because it is through this worship that I get purified, and it is also important that what I do, the people will follow. And because I try to worship the Lord with standard paraphernalia and with the proper process, the people are going to follow what I do. So Lord Shiva was doing that, and every leader is supposed to be very, very responsible and very, very cognizant of the fact that he has to set a right example. So Lord Shiva was setting the right example, and not just for setting the right example, but their whole nature is such that whatever they do, however they behave, it becomes exemplary for everybody else to follow. So then Narad Muni came and Lord Shiva said, oh, what brings you here? And Narad Muni was looking at Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva said, hey, what happened? What are you looking at me like this? I said, you are the supreme recipient of the Lord's mercy. And Lord Shiva said, what's wrong with you? And he was a little upset. And he said, what are you talking, Narad Muniji? Can you just make me understand what are you talking? I said, in fact, Lord Shiva, it is so wonderful that of all the people that I have met, all the people I have considered, Lord Brahma has told me that you have indeed received the mercy of Lord Shiva. And at this point of time, Lord Shiva became angry. He got up and he closed the mouth of Narad Muni and said, stop talking. And Narad Muni realized that he should not cross his lines. Lord Shiva was angry. And we all know when Shiva becomes angry, it can be really serious. So Narad Muni said that I must definitely glorify him, but I must be a little careful. And then Lord Shiva said, what are you talking? talking? And his hand was still on his mouth. I said, what are you talking? And Lord Shiva says, I'm just a poor soul trying to hanker for the favor of the servants of the Lord's servants. Please understand this statement. I'm just a poor soul. And he didn't say even trying to hanker. He didn't say even hanker. He said, I'm trying to hanker. Even that whole act of hankering is also something that he's trying. That is the humility. That is the real disposition. That is what they think. That I'm simply trying to achieve the mercy of the Lord. Mercy of the Lord. Mercy of the servants of the Lord. Parikshit Maharaj is saying, Parikshit Maharaj said that this is the glory of Lord Shiva. He's telling his wife, his mother Uttara, that this is the glory of Lord Shiva. And then Narad Muni went on to say that, oh Lord Shiva, isn't it that many times in many of our incarnations, the Lord has asked for boons from you? We all know, right? As she mentioned, Ram in Rameshwaram asked for boons from you, and so many times the Lord has incarnated and taken boons from Lord Shiva. And when Shiva heard this, he completely closed his ears and said, please, I feel disgusted to hear this. That cannot be more audacity of mine than to do this act of thinking of giving a boon to the Lord. He said, please, Narad Muni, if at all you have some mercy, please don't show my arrogance in this way. I'm disgusted to really hear this. And yes, I did it. But this is because, it's because the Lord is so kind. And Lord Shiva says, the Lord is so kind and so deep. His kindness and His love is like a vast ocean. There is no end to His kindness. There is no end to His mercy. There is no end to His love. And because the Lord is so kind and so loving, the Lord does all these activities just to encourage this insignificant jiva soul, because the Lord is the ocean of mercy, Kripa Sindhu, Prema Nidhi. He is the ocean of love, He is ocean of His mercy. So that is the glory of the Lord. It is not my glory. So please, Narad Muni, please understand. It is just the most audacious, the most disgusting thing that I ever did. But he said, but wherever you are involved, the Lord becomes very kind. See, Narad Muni wanted to establish this fact that you are glorious. So he said, wherever you are involved, the Lord becomes very kind. Banasur, it's almost like your son. He had got his 1,000 arms, and he didn't know what to do with his 1,000 arms. We know that he has such power. So when you have too much of power, and you don't know what to do, you're not guided with and how to use the power, what do? You tend to become destructive. Very, very interesting lesson of life, my dear friends. When you have too much of power, too much of respect, too much of fame, and you are not guided properly, what happens? You become destructive, you become offensive, you become very proud. And Banasur had got this muscular body with 1,000 arms, and nobody told him what to do. He would just play the drum. He would have played the drum so wonderfully, and Lord Shiva would be dancing. And Shiva loved him as a drum player, because he played with 1,000 hands. Lord Shiva loved to dance, and there was nobody more capable of playing a drum like Banasur, because he had 1,000 arms. He was playing. The Lord Shiva was very happy with Banasur. But other times he would just agitate the water of the ocean, and there would be tsunamis coming in different places, and you would feel very nice, because that's how he was using his energy. We see even children, right? If they don't know how to use their excess energy properly, then they become destructive. And please understand, when adults do the same, they are childlike, and we know adults do that, right? There's so many leaders in the world who have so much of power. A place like North Korea, I don't want to mention names, he has so much power, crazy. They don't know what to do, just one button and they can really create disaster in the world. So we have to be very careful as devotees. We have to be very careful not only to do the service, but with the service comes a lot of power, a lot of respect, a lot of fame. But we need to be constantly under proper guidance, so that people can guide us how to regulate what we have received. And as I mentioned yesterday, how to ultimately offer idam namama, how to offer to the Lord, that is all belongs to you. The Lord Shiva, Narad Muni was explaining that Banasur when he was, there was a war when Aniruddha with the son of Krishna. It's a long story. We are running short of time. So then Krishna was about to kill Banasur, and Shiva came running and said, "Please, this is my devotee. Please leave him." And Krishna was so kind to Banasur because Shiva was involved. So he cut all of his 996 arms and he kept 4 arms. Narmuni is saying this. And he gave him the same form of 4 hands, like the people have in the Vaikuntha, to Banasur. And he said that, "My dear Lord Shiva, this person will have no problem. He'll be immune from old age, he'll be immune from disease, and he will be constantly serving you for the rest of eternity till the time you are there in your Shiva Loka. He'll be serving you." That's the mercy the Lord showed to Banasur. Why? Narmuni is explaining, only because Banasur is your devotee, my dear Lord Shiva. That's how wonderful the Lord loves you. And once it's explained, Narmuni is explaining a very sweet thing. I said, "Lord Shiva, once you remember you asked that, please make me greater than you." Lord Shiva asked a benediction to Krishna, to Vishnu. He said, "Please make me greater than you." And Lord Shiva said, "Oh, how disgusting. Yes, I did ask. How can I even dream of being greater than the Lord?" But Narmuni explained, "I know exactly the purpose why you did that, my dear Lord Shiva. I know it because Lord Shiva, you heard that Krishna said it. Mad Bhakta Puja Vadika. That I am not great, but my devotees are great." And because Lord Shiva was indirectly wanting to be his devotee of Lord Krishna, he said, that's why Lord Shiva was asking, "Oh my dear Lord, please make me greater than you." Because he had full faith in that fact that devotee is greater than the Lord. So what was he asking actually? Not to become greater than the Lord. Narmuni said, "My dear Lord Shiva, I know it. The world may think that you are arrogant. The world may think that you are proud. But I know your internal heart. I know that you were asking for the benediction to become a sold out slave of the Lord. Because it is the Lord who himself has proclaimed that my devotee is more greater than me. There's nobody that is more greater and now or ever in the history than my devotee. That is your glory." We see the similar example of Advaita, a long story, cutting it short. Advaita was always feeling that how is Lord Chaitanya just worshipping me all the time because I'm just older than in age. So he acted as a Mayavadi sannyasi. And he was started preaching Mayavad, and Lord Chaitanya was so angry. He came one day and he started beating Advaita, and Advaita was laughing. "Where is your royal awe and reverence gone from you, O Lord, now?" So the Lord tricked him. Advaita tricked the Lord. Similarly, Lord Shiva was also trying to be very, very intelligent and trick the Lord. I said, that is your glory. Your constant meditation is how I can be a sold out devotee of the Lord. And therefore, the Lord said, "Yes, I'll make you greater." And that's where he gave you the benediction and your wife the benediction. That you can give the benediction of liberation to whoever comes. Neither Lord Brahma, none of the demigods can have the power to give benedictions of liberation. But you, Lord Shiva, Krishna gave you the benediction. That because you want to be greater than me, yes, you can be greater than me also. Because like me, only I can give benedictions. I empower you to also give the benedictions to people who approach you. So that's how Lord Shiva was glorified. And then Narmuni said, "It is not only Lord Shiva, but even your wife is such a wonderful personality. It is she who really controls. It is she who really gives all the auspiciousness to people in their lives. So even she is so wonderful." And then Lord Shiva said, "How painful is this to hear what you are saying?" I said, "I am the root of pride." Now please understand, many times when we speak something, we don't really mean it. We just say, "Oh, I'm most fallen." Do you really know what it means to be most fallen? Do we really mean it? Yeah. But when Lord Shiva is saying, "I'm actually the root of pride," it's explained by Acharyas. The Lord Shiva is thinking that I am the force presiding over the ahankar in this material world. The ahankar factor is presided by Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva, when he says, "I am the root of pride," he's actually meaning that, something, how proud I am. That I am the root cause of pride. And that pride is the main enemy of every single person who wants to be a devotee of the Lord. So I am the root of the pride. And Lord Krishna is completely prideless. He's opposite. And here I am the root of pride, and Lord Krishna is completely prideless. There cannot be any comparison between me and Krishna. So please understand, I am the root of pride. And can you imagine when Krishna wants to preach the Mayavad philosophy? And Mayavad is something which Mayavadi Bhashya Shunile Hoy Sarvanash is explained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But whom does he select to preach the Mayavad philosophy? Because Mayavad philosophy is one which takes us away from Krishna Bhakti. But whom does he select? He selects me, of all the people. He selects me. That okay, you become Shankaracharya and you preach the Mayavad philosophy. You think the Lord really loves me? But otherwise, if he loved me, how can he want me to do such obnoxious things? And then, in so many times, I have fought with my Lord. Especially give examples of when Aniruddha's fight happened and when Krishna stole the Parijata. Kishori explained this beautiful story. He said, I have fought with the Lord. Which person who respects the Lord will ever fight with the Lord? I have fought with the Lord with tooth and nail, intensely. Not as a game, but with intensity I have fought with the Lord. I'm definitely not the recipient of the Lord's mercy. If you really want to know who is the recipient of the Lord's mercy, I must tell you this. These are the residents of the Vaikuntha Loka. The Vaikuntha Loka Vasis, they have Swarupya Mukti, they look just at the Lord, they have features of the Lord, they have the same opulence of the Lord, but they give up this opulence, this form and everything as tuchha. It is explained that they give up everything as worthless straw. And they simply want to be attracted to the devotional service of the Lord. And of all the Vaikuntha Vasis, the greatest Vaikuntha Vasi is the goddess of fortune. And when Parvati heard this, she was very happy because she is actually the expansion of goddess of fortune. And she said, yes, indeed, of all the first people who have received the supreme mercy of the Lord, the goddess of fortune is the indeed personality which is the supreme mercy of the Lord. And Narmani was hearing this and he said, wow, this is interesting, very nice. So I must immediately go to the Vaikuntha planets. And Lord Shiva said, wait, because you are so ecstatic, because you are so enthusiastic, you have a loss of memory. Lord Narmani said, but what? It happens, right? Many times when we are enthusiastic, when we are too eager to do something, we sort of forget. We sort of become oblivious of what's around. We sort of oblivious because what is reality. I said, don't you know that just now the Lord Vishnu and his consort, the goddess of fortune, is incarnated in Dwarka? You should go to Dwarka. They are not present in Vaikuntha. They are in Dwarka, performing beautiful pastimes in Dwarka. So you should go to Dwarka. And then Parvati was also very happy. She said, yeah, please go to Dwarka. And as Narmuni was about to go to Dwarka, Lord Shiva called him. Please understand, even amongst devotees, husband and wife and friends, there are secrets. Lord Shiva said, come here. I want to tell you something. I don't want Usha to hear this. Uma to hear this. I'm sorry. I'm confused with Usha and Uma. So I don't want Uma to hear this, Parvati to hear this. And he called him and said, actually, even even greater than me, even greater than your father Brahma, greater than Garuda, greater than all the residents of Vaikuntha, even greater than the goddess of fortune. The greatest is Prahlad. You should go and meet Prahlad. If I say this loudly, then my wife Parvati would hear it and she would be very angry. Because why is it that I am comparing Prahlad greater than Lakshmi? So she would not be angry. That's why I'm just saying it very, very softly. Because Prahlad has indeed received the mercy of the Lord. And Narmuni realized, and as he was explaining, Prahlad, he said that when the Lord came, I don't want to repeat that story, it's already spoken. When the Lord came to Nrsimhadev, all of us were very scared, but Prahlad was put in the front. And when Prahlad came in the front, the Lord was very, very satisfied. He started licking the Lord and licking Prahlad like a lioness licks a cub. So that's why he explained that because of all these various reasons, my dear Narad Muni, you should immediately go to the place where Prahlad is there, and Prahlad is there in Sutala Loka. So you should go to Sutala Loka and worship in Prahlad. And as Narad Muni heard this, he became very ecstatic. He said, yes, finally I will go to Sutala Loka and meet the supreme devotee, who has this is the greatest mercy of the Lord. Prahlad. So the Narad Muni went to Sutala Loka, and Prahlad Maharaj was engaged in deep meditation of the Lord. As I said, every devotee is doing some wonderful activity, was meditating for the Lord. Narad Muni sat down, waiting for the meditation to get over. And then indeed, as soon as the Lord, when Prahlad came out of meditation, he said, "Oh my dear Prahlad," and please understand what was this happening. It's the Guru meeting his disciple. This is the most amazing activity that I felt and that the world has ever seen. Narad Muni didn't, when Lord Shiva said, you should go and beat Prahlad. Narad Muni said, "Oh, Prahlad, he's my disciple, Many times, when somebody is doing good and we are connected to that person somehow or the other, we feel, oh, he's doing good. Something, he's my friend. Something, he's my disciple. Something, he's my counselor. Something, is this, that. We immediately want to connect to that person who is doing something good. But Narad Muni didn't do that. He didn't see Prahlad as his disciple, but he simply saw Prahlad as the greatest recipient of the Lord's mercy. This is wonderful, my dear friends. This is the mood of a Vaishnava. That he is Saragraha, he doesn't see the good that he has done to others, but he always sees the good what others are doing for the world. So when Prahlad saw Narad Muni and he said, "This is my Diksha Guru." And this was years, please understand, Prahlad is meeting Narad Muni after years. He met Narad Muni in the womb, it is explained by our acharyas. He met him in his womb, and then after that, Prahlad had not met his Guru. And after years, but Prahlad did not forget the contribution of his Guru in his life. Similarly, we should understand that we should never ever forget whatever contributions people have done to our lives. Even though they are maybe small or big, should be eternally indebted. We should always remembering that this person has contributed in small or big way in my life. There is no place of being ungrateful in spiritual life. And Prahlad was so grateful. He offered arghyam, he washed the feet. But Narad Muni said, no washing the feet. Because I have come here, not as your Guru. I have come here to worship you, O Prahlad, because you are indeed the recipient of the Lord's mercy. Prahlad said, what are you talking? How can you say that? I said, I'm born in a demoniac family after all. How can I be the mercy, receive the mercy of the Lord? And then Narad Muni was explaining. Said, something, that Krishna is eternally the doorkeeper at the planet of Bali Maharaj. Vamanadev is the doorkeeper at Bali Maharaj is regarding as a door. Why do you think he is the doorkeeper? Do you think that because Bali Maharaj gave everything to the Lord is a doorkeeper? Actually, Bali Maharaj disrespected his spiritual master. But still, he became his doorkeeper. Why do you think he has become a doorkeeper? Because of his connection to you, dear Prahlad. The Lord was so kind. And why do you think the Lord was so kind to Banasur? Again, the same thing, because of his connection to you. The Lord was kind to Banasur, the Lord was kind to Bali Maharaj, because in both the cases, the Lord, because he saw your connection, so that is why, the Lord is so very dear, you are so dear to the Lord, that, that he wants to always be kind to people who are connected to you. And then it explained that once you wanted to really see the Lord, you want to really have a darshan of the Lord, you're wondering that when will I get the darshan of my Lord? And then you thought of visiting the forest of Naimisharanya. It's a beautiful story. Please hear it with attention. He was Prahlad, as he was grown up, he was walking with his bows and arrow, and he was walking, and there he saw a renunciate, a sannyasi with bow and arrow, and very, very, very strangely dressed, a sannyasi with bow and arrow. And Prahlad said, this is something wrong. He is not really, he seems to be a fake person. So I will attack. He said, I want to attack you, I want to destroy you, and I want to defeat you. And then the person, the renunciate, said, okay, let's fight. And then they fought, but nobody was defeated. And then they ended the fight ended the next day. They were again about to begin the fight. On that day, before they started the fight, Prahlad was worshipping his lordships, and he put a beautiful garland on the arch of murti of his deities. And then he put the garland, and then he took the blessings and went out. And surprisingly, that person who was standing in front of the renunciate, who was wearing the same garment as Prahlad had put to his deities, and he realized, this is indeed the Lord. The Lord is fulfilling my desire. He has come in this form, and he completely submitted himself. The Lord was wearing a beautiful yellow pitambar. Huh? And that's how the Lord fulfilled the desire of Prahlad. And that's how Prahlad, came. And the Lord came in the front of Prahlad, and he said, I want to fulfill all your desires. So you are indeed. But Prahlad said, there's so many things that you have said, but let me say one thing. I remember the Lord only when I really need him. Only when there's some difficulty, I remember the Lord. I don't do any service for the Lord, and I'm so attached. When the Singh came, he gave me my kingdom, he gave me my family, he gave me all the opulences, and I became very happy because I got what I really wanted: opulence, kingdom. I'm attached to all those things, and I simply remember the Lord when I need him. But the people who are really most dear to the Lord are the people who actually render actual devotional service to the Lord. And there cannot be a greater person who renders physical devotional service for years together other than Hanuman. Hanuman is the one who has received the mercy of the Lord. He constantly serves Lord Ram, and with shortage of time, I don't want. And beautifully, Prahlad explains the beautiful instances of the way the Lord Hanuman is serving the Lord, and Prahlad explains that, please understand, oh my dear Gurudev, I am not the recipient of the Lord's mercy. I am simply an insignificant servant. And Narad Muni accepts. I said, I am very happy. And he takes the role of a guru. I said, I am very happy with your disposition. I bless you that you always remain in this humble disposition. And Narad Muni went to meet Hanumanji. And when he goes to meet Hanumanji, let us hear. Yeah. Let's just speak for 5 minutes or maybe just. So please understand, my dear friend, I think there's no time, only 3 minutes remaining. So please understand, it is so beautiful. I mean, we have Hanumanji and so many beautiful, and hopefully in the next few months we will be able to serve you in this way.
Lessons which we learn from Brihad Bhagavatamrita, we must understand that each of these devotees are such great personalities. We hear about Indra, we hear about Brahmaji, we hear about Prahlad, Lord Shiva. But each one of them in their individual personal life, they are practicing devotees, they are worshipping a deity, they are doing their sadhana, and they are very conscious about the anarthas they are having in their heart.
They don't have the anarthas, but
they may not have the anarthas, but they are very conscious of those anarthas, and they always want to protect themselves. So please, I wanted to give all of you a little exercise, which I am also trying to do. That introspect in your life, and please make a list. Make a list of all the greatest mercy the Lord has shown to you in your life. So many times we have seen that, the way we became a devotee, how we got a book in Krishna consciousness, or how sometimes Lord gave us a special mercy on a festival, we got some special Mahaprasad, or we went to a holy dham and we got some special mercy of the Lord, or some special darshan we got. So many different ways actually. Lord might have reciprocated with each one of us. So please make a list of all the activities, first of all, introspect in your life, and write down that how you are grateful to the Lord for all the different mercies He has shown to you in your life. First of all, He has given us the mercy of coming in contact with ISKCON and Srila Prabhupada's books, Srila Prabhupada's temples, Srila Prabhupada's philosophy, the Gaudiya Vaishnava Guru Parampara. And then, once you finish that list, that you have received such, whatever mercy you have received, you must become grateful. Because gratitude makes the heart very soft. And please understand, in that soft heart, when the Bhakti Lata beach, which is sown by the mercy of the Guru and Gauranga, it grows very nicely when you do the watering in the form of your sadhana. Guru Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavana Jiva, Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Beach. So by the causeless mercy of spiritual master Srila Prabhupada, Lord Chaitanya, we have received this Bhakti Lata Beach. But it will grow only when your heart, the soil of your heart, is very soft. And that softness will come when we become grateful. Grateful to the Lord grateful to the devotees. When you make that list of all the mercy, make the column of list of mercy to the Lord and mercy which came in the form of help from different devotees. And please remember this, never forget this, that how when gratitude actually will make that heart soft, and then when you will perform your sadhana in the form of reading, hearing, chanting, doing deity worship, doing your services, that Bhakti Lata Bij will slowly start growing. So gratitude is very important. And the second exercise which I would like all of us to do is that please think, if Narad Muni comes to you and glorifies you for all the mercy which you have received, which devotee's name you will think to direct Narad Muni? That he is or she is or they are better devotees than me. Then actually practically we are hearing the Srimad Brihad Bhagavatam. It is not yet over and we have just finished the Bhuloka and the heavenly planet. Bhuloka, Narad Muni visited the South Indian Brahmana and the king. And then, not South Indian Brahmana, South Indian king and the Brahmana. And then in the heavenly planet, he met Brahmaji and then he visited Lord Indra. And then he came out of the heavenly planet of this universe, beyond the material universe, and he met Lord Shiva in Shiva Loka. And then he met Prahlad in Vaikunth, in that his Loka. So please understand and absorb this mood of appreciating other devotees, glorifying other devotees, because realizing that as much Krishna is displeased when you offend a devotee, that much he is pleased when you appreciate a devotee. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, chant Hare Krishna and do not make Vaishnava aparadh. Then it is my guarantee that you will come back to me. So we are chanting Hare Krishna, sometimes 16 rounds, sometimes 64 rounds. But maybe we are having some Vaishnava aparadh tendency. So to counteract that, to balance that, what is important is to cultivate the habit, cultivate the quality of appreciating other devotees, glorifying other devotees, being grateful to other devotees, and trying to cultivate the quality of humility and downplaying whatever activities we are doing or whatever mercy we are receiving. Instead of that, always become happy by seeing others receiving more mercy. We see in Chaitanya Charitamrita also, in Mahaprakash Leela, right? In that particular night, every single devotee was getting very beautiful reciprocation from Lord Shri Gauranga. And suddenly somebody said, Lord Gauranga, you are not giving mercy to Mukunda. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, he is associated with Mayavadis. I will not give him mercy. And Mukunda was crying. And at that time the devotee asked, when will you give? Saying, after 10,000 lifetimes. And Mukunda became ecstatic. Oh, after 10,000 lifetimes I will get the mercy. And looking at his ecstasy, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately called him and gave him his mercy. And seeing this, the devotees were more happy than actually when they received the mercy. Similarly, when Sachi Mata was not receiving the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, because Lord Chaitanya said that she has offended Advaita Acharya, I will not give mercy to my mother also. And Sachi Mata in ecstasy, she became unconscious. And actually, Advaita Acharya became unconscious. And devotees told Sachi Mata that please go and take dust of the lotus feet of Advaita Acharya. And then immediately Lord gave her the mercy. So devotees are more keen, we are more happy that others receive Lord Gauranga's mercy. In Jagannath Puri, all the devotees were working together that how King Prataprudra gets the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. They are planning different ways and means that King Prataprudra gets the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So please understand that Lord is more pleased when we are happy that others are receiving more mercy, we appreciate other devotees, we glorify our other devotees. That is one basic lesson, basic teaching which we understand from Brihad Bhagavatam.
And it's not that we just simply hear this pastime is happening in CC, happens in Bhagavatam, happens in Brihad Bhagavatam. But in our own communities, in our own ways, we actually can practice this whole interaction, this loving relationship amongst devotees. And as we said, the important point to remember is that it is not important that how loyal we are when our fellow devotees are in trouble or they're suffering, but how thrilled we are when they succeed is going to be the barometer of how our relationships are. And so let the relationship not be just based upon being helpful when they need help. That is good. Obviously, we need to help, but more important and more difficult. And that's exactly what these devotees from Brihad Bhagavatamrita are practicing. That they were successful, but they were more happy to see the other people's success, and they found great bliss and ecstasy to see their glory. And if we have that mood, then practically, as Prabhupada said, our temples and our communities will be Vaikuntha, will be the places of wonderful relationship of the Lord. So thank you very, very much. We thank you all for the wonderful service that we have got the chance to render to all of you. I thank the Radha Gopinath Temple for the service. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
RG Media YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe.